We've got two signings on our hand and a very sleepy narrator who's going to go out there and talk to you about them in today's video. Let's go over to Detroit Red Wings as the biggest piece of news of the day. Jonatan Berggren has signed a one-year contract with an AAV of $825,000. Steve Yzerman and his guys get the deal done. They actually tweeted this earlier saying that it was $875,000, and then they retweeted, they made a new version of the post the Red Wings did saying $825,000. So this is a pretty good deal. It's obviously the biggest contract that was signed today. Psych, just kidding. There was another contract that I wanted to go out there and talk about in this video, as the Penguins have officially re-signed Sid the Kid to a 2-year contract extension. And we'll get to the Crosby contract in a minute. Let's talk about Berggren first and foremost, though. This is a deal that nobody is surprised to see at this point in the summer. I think if you had asked Red Wings fans maybe back in like May or June, hey, what's Berggren's future going to look like? Is he going to get re-signed? There was probably a bigger sentiment that said that he would have maybe gotten traded sometime earlier in the summer, mostly because for Jonatan Berggren, this is a player that had himself a really strange kind of like falling out with the team. Not necessarily because he's a bad player. I mean, he had himself 56 points in 53 games played with the Griffins this previous season and 6 points in 12 games with the Wings. He's pretty alright, pretty skilled, he can get things done, but his role with the team was really not being all too defined, and he wasn't really being given the opportunities to progress with the main Detroit Red Wings team. He had almost the full season's worth of time in 2022-2023, scoring 28 points and 15 goals. That looked pretty good. A lot of Wings fans were optimistic for Jonatan Berggren and his future from this 22-23 season. But the season after, there was a little bit of doubt. There were other guys taking up spots in the main Red Wings forward core, and Berggren spent the majority of the year in the AHL. Simply put, he felt that he was deserving more. He felt that he could have played in the NHL, which is why there was a lot of buzz around a trade. Oh, he wants out, he wants this, he wants that. And based off of what we were hearing, based off of the kind of rumor mill that was circulating around the end of the season, it seemed like the Wings were entertaining Berggren's trade request. They were trying to get something done. They were trying to send him off, see what they could get for him, but nothing really transpired. So heading into the summer with no contract as an RFA, so we had very little control in the matter, Jonatan Berggren had no choice but to re-sign with Motown and to just kind of spend one more season with this team, maybe on a prove-it deal, maybe on, let's say, some sort of a please trade me one more time kind of deal. If he's able to start the year in Detroit and have a pretty good production rate, that does a few good things. Firstly, it makes him a lot more confident and believing in his game. Secondly, it allows the Red Wings to exhibit a player who has success, which is, of course, always a good thing. And then thirdly, it allows Berggren to raise his trade value a little bit more. So if CVY is intent on trading him sometime soon in the upcoming season, there will be an avenue to do that and an avenue to get some actual tangible assets back. So for Jonatan Berggren, it's not really surprising. It wouldn't have made sense for Berggren to hold out and not sign with the Detroit Red Wings. There was going to be no opportunity for him to go elsewhere, assuming the Wings already tried to trade him and came up with nothing as a result. So for Berggren, it's in his best interests to re-sign, come back over to Motown, and at least have one more year where he's going out there and trying to demonstrate his value. The first D in the Dennis system, after all. Now, this is one of two big contracts that I wanted to go out there and talk about. The other one is Sid the Kid, and this is, of course, you know, kind of burying the lead here. Penguins re-signed Sidney Crosby to a 2-year contract extension. Let's read this here. The Pittsburgh Penguins have re-signed Captain Sid the Kid to a 2-year deal. It was announced today by President of Hockey Operations and GM Kyle Dubas. The contract runs to 2026-2027 and carries an AAV of $8.7 million. Man, that is a steal. What an absolute steal for a guy who's, 37 years old, who's signing a 2-year deal worth $8.7 million. That's a crazy, crazy steal. There are no words to properly describe what Sidney Crosby means to the game of hockey, the city of Pittsburgh, and the Penguins organization, said Dubas. Sidney is the greatest player of his generation and one of the greatest players in history. His actions today show why he is one of hockey's greatest winners and leaders. Sid is making a tremendous personal sacrifice in an effort to help the Penguins win both now and in the future, as he has done his entire career. The three-time Stanley Cup champ. Okay, are we going to read this entire thing? This is so long. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's got a lot of points. He's got a lot of awards. He's got a lot of all-star nominations. He's got a lot of trophies. He is fantastic, and I don't think anybody really needs you to tell them that. Sid's work ethic, focus, character, and mastery of his craft are the stuff of legends to those inside of hockey. Yet, what makes Sid most special is that he actually surpasses that legend with his daily commitment to his craft and helping the Penguins win, Dubas continued. His dedication to the Penguins through 2027 ensures that our franchise will have its captain as we go through this phase of our project. Sid's commitment reiterates our urgency to build a team around him that can return our team to contention and provide our players with Sid's leadership and example of what it means to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. Named one of the 100 greatest players in NHL history, the 37-year-old ranks 10th in NHL history with 1,596 points in 1,272 games played, and has averaged at least a point per game in each of his 19 NHL seasons, a feat only he and Wayne Gretzky have accomplished. Yeah, we don't need to read the rest of this. I mean, we kind of know just how good Sidney Crosby has been, but I, for one, am just kind of surprised that the dollar amount is literally just 8.7. Elliot Friedman had us all thinking that it could have been like $10 million, 10.875 or something like that. So the fact that Sidney Crosby signs an $8.7 million deal, that makes things so much crazier when you acknowledge just how much money he's going to be worth. And we had Pierre LeBrun actually go out there and give us the signing extension breakdowns. In year one, Sidney Crosby's making $780,000 on the salary and $9 million in signing bonuses. In year two, it's $1090 million in salary. $1090 million? That doesn't sound right. $1,090,000 in salary and $6,530,000 in signing bonuses. Sidney Crosby is getting a lot of money in the summer and not much throughout the year. I mean, $1,090,000 is still a lot, same with $780,000, but the majority of the money is going to be given to him throughout the summers on bonuses. This tweet, of course, from Chris Johnston. Incredibly, Sidney Crosby will end up playing 19 of his NHL seasons with a cap hit of $8.7 million. That has given the Penguins tremendous flexibility to build out other areas of their roster at the expense of much greater career earnings for him personally. The Penguins made their first extension offer to the Crosby camp. It should say to the Crosby camp. It kind of pisses me off how they say, oh, to Crosby camp, led by Pat Brisson. It doesn't really flow well when I'm trying to read it out loud, and it causes me to stumble over my words. Yeah, imagine how many times I had to reread this tweet. But the Penguins made their first extension offer to the Crosby camp, led by Pat Brisson back in June. The dialogue continued all summer. The deal was finalized last night. There was never a doubt that he would sign, but finding the right term was key. It could have been 3 to 4 years, but Crosby is comfortable with 2 years. He left money on the table to help the Pens be as competitive as possible. He also said to Sidney Crosby that he didn't want to be some sort of a burden by signing a really long-term deal and not really living up to it as he gets older and older. So the fact that he only signed a 2-year deal till he's 40 years old at $8.7 million, it's great because it's like Sidney Crosby is thinking, if I'm 42, I'm 43, and I'm making $8.7 million and I'm a bum, I'm going to be dragging the Penguins down, so I don't want to do that. I want to go 2 years. I'm committed to Pittsburgh. Everybody knows I'm committed to Pittsburgh, so as long as I can keep on providing value to this team, that is exactly what Sidney Crosby is wanting to do here, and it's how he's able to accomplish that with an $8.7 million contract. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the 2 contracts we had talked about in today's video. Jonatan Berggren has signed a contract with the Detroit Red Wings, $825,000, and Sid the Kid is back in Pittsburgh for an $8.7 million deal. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.